Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. Hey, everybody. I was drinking out of my Mountain Dew beer mug that I got from my friend here, who you see on the recording. Hello, everyone. Welcome, Holy Trinity Lutheran Church and Lutheran Campus Ministry. This is another video in our stewardship series, sharing stories of how and why we still engage online worship and make connections online with Holy Trinity. Online worship has been a part of who we are since the beginning of the pandemic, and it got us through the pandemic, and we still continue to do it post-pandemic in the new normal because we realize that online worship, online engagement is a big part of who we are as Holy Trinity and strengthen our connections and growing our friendships and growing in our faith. And I have a really cool, neat person, one of my favorite humans, are on this video with us right now, Catherine, or Kat, as we like to call her in Lutheran Campus Ministry. And what we're going to do is I'm going to share my version of the story of how we got connected, and then she's going to correct me what I got wrong or what I missed in those connections, and share her version of the story and why she still engages with us in with online worship. So, Kat, before we get started, where are you right now? And what time is it?
I am in Hanover and it is 10 p.m.
Yes, that's the amazing thing about technology is that we are talking to each other live. She's in Germany across the ocean. It's 10 o'clock p.m. It is 4 o'clock over here in Chapel Hill. So here we are connecting on Zoom, hanging out. And we'll share a little bit about more about her story in a minute. But let me share. All right, so begin the pandemic. We're doing online worship. We kind of figure out what we're doing, kind of not. We're just kind of limping along, trying to stay connected the best way we stay the best way we possibly can during the pandemic, learning how to do this online thing. And then I think I remember this, correct me if I'm wrong, you reached out on Instagram, like Instagram DM, or you said,
And
hey, I'm checking you guys out. I'm over here in Switzerland. I'm from Germany. I'm working in Switzerland. I'm coming over to Chapel Hill to do grad school. And I've been watching you. I found you online and I'm watching your worship. I'd love to connect when I get to Chapel Hill. And we were like, super cool. I was like, wow. So that was the first time I made the connection that perhaps our YouTube worship videos are not just for people in our community, but not only around the United States, but all across the world, across the pond in Europe. I was like, what? We're even reaching over there? That's pretty cool. And so we DM'd back and forth a little bit, made connections, and then you continued to worship with us online. And then eventually you made it over here to go to school. And then when we saw each other in person, it was like those kind of online friendships or talking. And then you're like, oh, wow, you're a real person. You have skin, you have hair, or you have hair. I don't. But we're like, oh my gosh, you're a real live human being. Cool, high five. And then you got connected with our church and our campus ministry. And then one of my favorite stories is you asked if you could park one day here, I think. And I was like, oh, Kat, like, no, you are a part of our congregation. You can park here anytime you want. And you were like, what did you just say to me? And I was like, yes, you can park here anytime you want. Mi casa, su casa. I don't know how do you say that? My house is your house in German.
mein Haus ist dein Haus.
There you go. That's exactly what we said to you. And and so you started parking here, you made deep friendships, and then you graduated, you moved back to Germany. It was very sad to say goodbye, but you're still engaged with our worship, and you're going to move back to Chicago. I think another Tar Heel moved to Chicago after he graduated too. He had a number 23 on his back. Yeah, so you're in good you're following in good footsteps, and so you're going to be coming back to the United States. So what did I miss? Is that the story? What else in there do you want to share?
You must. I love that the parking pass is your favorite story. You know, when they ask, like, are you that kind of Christian who prays for parking? That's me. And you
Yes,
answered. So
it
that
was
worked
an
out.
answered prayer. You were literally praying for parking.
I mean, maybe not. I mean, I was definitely worried about the parking situation at Chapel Hill
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't have a parking pass at that
Yeah.
point. So I was like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so tell us, like, how did you find us online? And then what was it like engaging over there before you got here, and then once you got here? What was that story like? How'd you find us?
Yeah. So I think the whole reason I ended up in Switzerland was because I first came to the United States in 2018 to start an internship in Raleigh. And I ended up staying 2 years at the time of my life, and then fell in love with the US, North Carolina, and I applied to UNC. And then UNC was only going to start in August 2022. No, 2020.
Yeah.
I'm way in the
Good time.
past.
Good time,
2020.
August 2020.
Yeah. And then, so I went back to Germany for a little bit, and to kind of bridge the time until I would go back to UNC, I stayed with that German engineering company that I worked for in Raleigh, and they had me work at their Swiss office. And then, of course, COVID hit, and like no one went anywhere, and the borders were closed. So I deferred my enrollment for a year, and so I stayed in Switzerland like way longer. And I don't know if this was maybe just like a coping mechanism, or like just me just planning my little life for when I get back to Chapel Hill. I was
Yeah.
also looking into churches, and I didn't even know if there was like a big Lutheran community in North Carolina at all. But it's just, I think, me being German, like I grew up Lutheran, so I specifically looked for a Lutheran church, and that's how I found you guys. I found you guys.
Yeah.
And
So
actually,
did you like Google or find it on YouTube, or did you just like, hey, where's the nearest Lutheran church, Chapel Hill, and we came up
yeah,
on?
I
Yeah.
Googled Lutheran Church Chapel Hill. Yeah, and you came up. And then I
Nice.
looked at your Instagram, and it was actually, I didn't DM you. I watched your live stream, remember? It was
Right.
you and me. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah, you might, what, you posted on Instagram that you were watching our YouTube. Is that what it was?
That
Did
too.
you?
I mean, I
Yeah,
did do
yeah.
that.
Yeah, you're posting like, oh, here. And I think the light bulb for me was like, oh, this is really cool that someone found us overseas. But the fact that you're coming over here to school is like, man, that's what we're doing. So not only we engage with YouTube online worship, but also social media, Facebook, Instagram, X,
Yeah.
you want to call it
Yeah.
that. Like we put ourselves out there to let us know, just to kind of let people know what we're up to, what we're doing, and to connect with people, so that if people come, that people find us that way, but also to make connections. So it was cool to begin to hear your story. And so you shared like under lockdown, like, yeah, you were away from your family in Germany. You wanted to come back to US. You love our country, and you love North Carolina, you love Chapel Hill, even though there's some pictures of you floating around with the NC State on, because you were in Raleigh for a while. There's some pictures with you with red on, but
I
that's
don't know what
okay.
you're talking about.
No. but but
That has
um
never
but yeah,
happened.
like you come in, you connect with us, or having that love, and then you were really isolated, like alone, locked down in Switzerland on your own. And
A
so
little
there's
bit.
online connections and reaching out and planning your life, thinking ahead, searching that stuff out is pretty important. And then to know that there's hope on the horizon, that you are coming this way, and there's a community already here waiting for you when you get here, even though you're like, I don't know this guy, Will, I don't know these LCM students. Hopefully this works out. They might be really weird. But you came here, we welcomed you with open arms, and you've been a part of our community, been on spring break trips with our group, and been on retreats, and hung out in our campus ministry center, and parked here. And when I went to Germany with the spring break crew last year, you actually dog sat and stayed at my house for
Yeah.
Cindy and I, taking good care of Woody while we were gone for the week. So that was pretty cool that there was a German in my house while I was in Germany. That's pretty fun. And so, yeah, you were coaching all the students, and like where to go and what to do, and that kind of stuff. And then it was sad to say goodbye, but then the hope is you got a visa, you have a job, you're coming over to Chicago. But now that you're still in Germany, do you still engage with our online worship? How does that make you feel? How do you still stay engaged with us?
I still watch the services on Sunday, and it's a little bittersweet because like I generally like watch it every Sunday, and I'm excited, but I'm also a little sad. But it's also really nice because it's like I get to peek to like, what is home for me, and I see everyone. I'm like, oh, there's Pastor Will, there's Pastor Mark. They're doing the little kids part, and
Yeah.
my family will walk in, and my dad's like, oh, is that Pastor Will? And so like he's not really like a church going guy, but he'll watch Holy Trinity on Sundays just to like
Uh,
hang out on the couch and like see everyone, and like that it's kind of nice that
Now,
could
does he
be.
speak English? Does he speak English?
He does not, but he doesn't care. He just
Yeah.
does it
So he can
experience.
sense in our voice inflections what we're trying to say in the sermon. Like if we get really happy and people kind of
Right.
laugh, or get serious, like, oh, that's a like what's going on there. Yeah.
Yeah. He will definitely understand like bits and pieces, but not everything.
Yeah.
But it's just, yeah, it's just really nice to like being able to share that part of my life. And I guess, yeah, as you said, share something that is so far away to still like feel connected and like
Hmm.
feel connected to the people and like text my friends when I know they're in church and I'm like, I'm watching right now. Like I know you're sitting there. It's,
Yeah.
but it is
That's
bittersweet. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I know it's kind of hard. It's kind of like there's that little bit of FOMO or kind of like, oh, I miss them. I wish I was still there. But
Yeah.
now that you kind of broke through the unknown of you are able to come back and have a job, that's pretty cool. I mean, it's not like a quick commute to Chicago, but the fact that you're on this side, we have a place to visit and coming back and forth and doing those things. You know, Lutheran headquarters for the ELCA, the Lutheran bishop, it's in Chicago. So, you know, there's Lutheran roots there too. And a good Lutheran contingency up
Yeah.
there. So pretty cool. And yeah, I just wanted to share with our group you know, who you are and how you got engaged with us, and then how you're still engaged with us. And that's a big part of our stewardship campaign, is to share with people there's many ways of engagement here at Holy Trinity. And yeah, there's in-person worship, there's also online worship. You can give in person, you can give online. All those things is a part of our stewardship together as a community together, and to find a way to go deeper in our faith and deeper in our relationships, that we're a community together, together and apart, and then find ways to be intentional with how we stay connected and that kind of thing. So I'm sure Kat and I, after this video, are going to chat a little bit and work out some details of her coming over here to this side. And yeah, who knows? Maybe, you know, this weekend's homecoming for our community, and so maybe next year during homecoming you can come down for the football game and hang out. You're a grad
Lovely,
here.
lovely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I guess I just wanted to say that I was so lucky to find this church, not just this church, also like LCM and like the student like community. Because I said to Pastor Mark one day, like, I promise I have a home, because I would run into him like every day, multiple times. And he was probably like, why is this girl always here? Like, does she live here? Because we also take naps on the couches. Like, I
Hmm.
spent so much time in this in this church building, and like did my midterms there and finals, and like basically wrote my master thesis there,
Hmm.
and like cried and like did all the things. And the friendships that we have there are just so genuine. You know how people always talk about a church home, but I don't think I've ever really experienced that until I came to this church.
Uh,
So
that's special.
yeah.
That's so awesome. That's the stories we want to keep sharing, and it makes a difference. Lutheran Campus Ministry is a big part of who we are and our identity, and a part of our stewardship campaign for next year, to say we're going to continue to sustain and empower campus ministry, especially in this time of transition when Pastor Mark retires and we call a new pastor. And you know, the students are going to come and go, but then the staff in the church will always be here, and we'll continue to share these stories, this legacy of many years of campus ministry, and it'll go on even after us. And so yeah, the online worship and campus ministry all here together, and who we are as a congregation. So friends who are listening to this, watching this, yeah, so continue to support our ministry. I'll put a link in the comments of our website and how you can give online, whether it's just a couple dollars or a one-time gift, or you want to sign up to give monthly automatic bank draft. There's many ways to give. So yeah, if you can support our ministry, we really appreciate it, because it keeps us going. And we hear stories like this from Kat and others who are engaged with our congregation. And as always, smash the like button, subscribe, comment, let us know where you are and what you need. And yeah, the peace of the Lord be with you always. And we'll see you next time. I can find where to stop recording. Bye, friends.